Sebastian Lesmes. I'm going to tell you about interactive simulators. Next. I'm going to begin with a little context for the topic. So, what is simulation? In a strict academic language, simulation is the imitation of the operation of a real-world process over the time. In a more simple way, we can say that simulation is the reproduction of a reality in a controlled environment. And what a controlled environment means, that means that you can define your own scenarios, you can change your own variables, use your own resources to reproduce whatever you want. In a simple way, we can define two principal types of simulation. Theoretical involves the use of mathematical equations to define the model, the system, and test it just in the paper. And the second one is the practical, with a theoretical basis in the back end, obviously. That involves the use of devices and special equipment that allows to configure and run simulations. And those devices and equipment are the basis of a simulator. So when it's worth it to use a simulator? Not all activities in the daily basis are worth it to use for a simulator. So for example, I'm sure most of you have a driver license. So the process to get a driver license is like you go to the academy, get some theory basics about the driving process, and after that you just jump into a car and start driving with the supervision of an expert. And in that case, the process is very simple, very easy to learn, and safe most of the cases. But how about another kind of driving process? Is that easy to learn to drive an F-22 war airplane? Or is that easy to learn and practice an open heart surgery or a space shuttle driving? And don't forget, it's not just the easy issue, it's also the safety involved around. And that's the principal problem in those disciplines that I told you. The training required is very specialized. There's not enough professionals and masters in those arts, so it's not very easy to get the training. The activities are risky, not just for the future employees, also for the public in general, because these activities are very close related to the society and the public in general. And the last one is expensive. Generally, those processes requires lots of resources, human, physical, and the deployment of those activities can be very difficult. What are the solutions to this? Maybe you can see two principal solutions for this. The first one is just follow the regular training processes as always, using physical resources and training in the real life. But as I said before, it's risky. You are exposed to accidents, so there is that the simulators appears. That's the second solution. Use interactive simulators to avoid all of those problems that I mentioned. So, what are the principal reasons to use simulators? I think there are three main reasons to use them. The first one are costs. In the long term, the use of simulators, in most of the cases, not all of them, are lower. The costs are lower than real training. The risks, as I said, you can almost eliminate 100% of risk using simulators. There is no important risks associated the use of the simulators. And the third, and for me the most important advantage using simulators is the fact that you can you have the ability to generate scenarios according to whatever you need. So, for example, you can test a technical failure if you are using a flight simulator, or you can test a patient reaction in a surgery. Those kind of behavior that even in the reality are difficult to predict due to its randomness, are not trivial scenarios. Here you can find some examples of simulators. This is how it looks a flight simulator of last generation seen from the exterior. Inside the simulator are just exactly the same as Airbus B737 platform. This one is a virtual crane simulator for those large cranes for constructions. Also works for large trucks and those equipment. And this one is a surgical simulator. You can see here that the future doctor, or even the doctor, can use those two artifacts, like little pencils, to manipulate like in a real environment the surgical instruments. And with those special glazes, you can see the part of the body that is surgery in a three-dimensional way. Nevertheless, those simulators, even the high-tech simulators, are not perfect. The principal disadvantage around simulator are the accurate and reality levels that can provide to the users. Not always are comparable with reality. And unfortunately, those accurate and reality levels are directly proportional to the cost. So the better the simulator, the higher is the cost. In conclusion, I want to say that in a near future, the technology developments and improvements will provide simulators that we will say that they can be 100% comparable with the reality. Thank you very much. Questions?
If you haven't asked a question yet, go ahead and ask one.
Have you used one of those simulators?
Not that professional types, but I think all of you, even me, have used it like video games, so that's a kind of simulator. And the new ones like the Kinect and those technologies that you can use your body and that kind of experience are also like simulators. So in that case.
Okay, thank you.